So we've been on this story since the beginning, and it just keeps happening now. There are two more whales that just washed up on beaches in New York and New Jersey in the past week alone. Now, one congressman is trying to get some answers about whether there's any relation to the offshore wind energy projects that they're drilling and researching and testing all over this area that may be having an impact on the way that these whales are able to see and hear and communicate. So he's pushing a bill that would force the feds to investigate. Republican Congressman Chris Smith of New Jersey joins me now. Congressman, good to have you with us.
Martha, thank you very much for having me on.
It's great to have you here. I live in New Jersey. I mean, you try to build a swimming pool. You got to go through the 10 zoning boards. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it's a long process, as anybody who knows who lives in the state. So how did they get away with building, selling these leases to these Norwegian companies and without doing, as you say, the proper environmental tests on what the impact might be?
Well, this has been so aggressively fast-tracked by the Biden administration to locate off the New Jersey, New York area, the Northeast, some 3,400 turbines that will go deep into the seabed. We're talking about, a pole that is 3 football fields long. It'll have to be driven in by a pile driver of some sort. There are other ways, but that's especially the one we're talking about. And when they do that, the noise is called high-intensity noise, will have a devastating impact. And that hasn't happened yet. It'll have a devastating impact on all marine life. Now they're doing surveys, acoustical surveys and other surveys to find out where to put these poles and the rest of the turbines. And there's already evidence, and I think the whales are the great wake-up call that the due diligence has not been done, Martha. So I want the GAO, the watchdog for Congress, to investigate this and to determine whether or not every I has been dotted and every T crossed, because I don't believe it has. We have this conformity among government scientists that you saw during COVID. You see it so often. They all say the same thing, groupthink. And one thing that nobody's been really focusing on, and I am, and that is the idea that we have hurricanes. Remember Sandy? It was a superstorm. We've had Category 3s, Hurricane Donna, some years back. And when they're out further in the water and those high-intensity winds, Europe doesn't have hurricanes. They don't have them. They have some bad storms. They get remnants of hurricanes, but they don't get hurricanes. And there's already studies suggesting that these things can topple over, again, doing even more damage to our environment, to our ocean. And the fishermen who are just amazing on the New Jersey and New York coastlines, they will be out of business because of this.
It's a strange situation when you have conservatives worried about the whales on the impact,
I don't think so.
Right?
I've always.
No, I'm not saying that they're not environmentalists, but it's very. When I grew up, it was always more liberal people who wanted to save the whales, but now they do. It's no problem. Don't keep going.
Great point.
What you're seeing here is nothing. Keep walking. We're going to stay on this with you, so I hope you'll come back. Thank you very much,
Congressman Chris Smith, and we're going to win this. We
of
have
New Jersey. Yeah,
at least a pause.
People should look up these leases. They go all the way up and down the entire eastern seaboard from where these are going to be built. Thank you, sir. It's good to have you with us. We will stay on that story. We've been on it since the very beginning.